All right, well, we'll dive in then. So this will be a repeat from the last month, but I want to redo it again, but I'm adding a few extra things with it. More tonight, a little more one-on-one assistance, guidance, and all, as well as working on family search and ancestry. So let's get started here. So just a few announcements. So for the West Texas Genealogical Society, we have on this coming Monday, July 20th at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the main branch. Alyssa Crow is opening up for Clyde Genealogy Society as well as West Texas Genealogical Society and anyone interested to come, and they're going to give a presentation about how to begin intro to your family stories. And so this is free. This is again at the main branch on Monday, July 20th from 6 to 7. And then Wednesday afternoon from about 2 to 6, it's Come and Go, KACU radio station 89.5, that's located on ACU campus. They are offering Clyde Genealogy Group, friends, family, West Texas Genealogy Society members to come and go. They're going to have refreshments and snacks there, and they're doing this to open up for anyone that would like to come and share a family story or a story and all. And there's a possibility that your story or stories, if you have more than one, could be aired on their radio station. And a few weeks ago, I was invited, and I shared a family story. And what I did was I gathered several newspaper articles, and I cheated and I used AI. But then I took AI and then I rewrote it in my words. So I didn't fully cheat. So anyway, but then when I went, I explained, I said, so I have a story written out. May I just please read it so I can get all my facts straight and the points? And they're like, of course. So they said, whenever you're ready. So, they hit record, and I just stood by the mic and I just read the story verbatim, and they put it on. It was not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before. And then the Wednesday week before that, they aired where I shared a little bit about West Texas Genealogical Society, a very brief interview. Anyway, so they were like at WTGS last question.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that they're looking for West Texas stories primarily.
But they did say they would open up to anyone's story. So anyone here, Callahan, Stevens County, wherever, even in East Texas area, wherever, they would make an exception. So it's not just specific with just West Texas, but the story I told was from the Hitson community in Fisher County, where this 3 times great-grandaunt of mine lived. And it was about, I won't give too much information, but there was a bad storm and some tragic things that happened. But anyway, they were like, would we, after the interview, they said, may we please come to one of your meetings and give a brief presentation and invite you all. We would like to open it up to anyone, and we will serve refreshments and snacks from this time 2 to 6. It's, as I said, come and go. And I said, well, let me speak to the members. And so I did, and they're like, yeah. So last Tuesday at our meeting, a lady named Shayla Conley and Caleb Leger, it's French, he's the one who interviewed me. They came and gave a short presentation inviting everybody, as well as y'all and family, friends, anyone interested. So I wanted to share this, open it up for y'all if y'all are interested. So again, it's at ACU campus in Abilene, 2 to 6. I have a Google map where they drew some really pretty blue and red lines for me and that I can share in an email if y'all would like to know. It's in front of a library, the Don Morris building, I think is what it is, but don't quote me. But anyway, but that's on this Wednesday. So next week we have the 20th, the 22nd, and then for the event for our group in August, I wanted us to go to the Grace Museum in Abilene. It's a come and go as well, self-guided tour. They open at 5 and they'll close at 8. But the neat thing is that you don't just get to see their 250 America pop-up, but you can go and explore their artwork if you're interested, as well as the floor that has a history of the area. So all of it's free. So there's no charge. So every Thursday night they open up to the public and they offer different programs for free. And it's the whole museum, which I think is really cool. So this was something I thought of. And so anyway, so our group's going to go. And if y'all would like to come, y'all are more than welcome to join us there. Again, the Grace Museum in Abilene, 27th of August. Let's see, sorry. There we go. Okay, this month of July, so last month we had Heritage Month for different groups of people. So this month they focus on French American Heritage Month, and it celebrates the history, culture, and contributions of Americans, French and French Canadian descent. It also marks the historic alliance between France and the United States during the Revolutionary War. And some genealogists may choose to focus on exploring their French Canadian roots and so on, and early colonial lineage and so on. Anyway, so for July, it's French American Month is the heritage. Interesting. So, any questions about the announcements or that before we begin? Okay, so hands-on genealogy organization checklist. So the handout that Jean gave y'all is, I just took it and I made my slides from it. So it's basically verbatim. So if you want to take extra notes, you're welcome to. There's 5 sections on the handout, 1 through 5. And that's all I'm just going to go over. Once we have done a brief discussion of it, then I will give you a live presentation of how to do some organizing on how I do on my Ancestry.com family trees, as well as on Family Search. And then, if y'all would like to, we can work on individuals or whatever, and work together, or you can work by yourself, or I can come help, or whatever you want to do. So anyway, it's just a creative way of getting it together. So anyway, so the number 1, the golden rule of genealogy storage. So it is organized by individual or family unit, never by a document type. And what I mean is, you don't want to have a file folder that just says birth certificates, because all of us have a birth certificate. And if you were thinking, I would like to locate grandpa's birth certificate, or great-great-grandma's birth certificate, if you're able to find it, or the delayed birth certificate. If you have just, your basic manila folder and it's just birth certificates, and you've got, say, 50 or 60 in here, it's going to take you a little bit. So your best option is just to put the person's name with their vital records with them. And so that's the golden rules, what it came up with. The second thing is, when you're creating your digital folder, we're going to talk about some digitization as well as physical organization as well. So this is an example, and again, I'd like to just emphasize that all of this is just sort of a guide. It's your own choice of how you would like or prefer to organize your data, and just be creative with it. This is yours. You may choose to have a master folder, as this example shows, with several folders inside your master folder, categorized by photos, by documents, surnames, so on. Or you may just say, like, you want one folder with that person's name, and then you want to put whatever records you find for her or him in it. And then you have a second folder for the next person, just like you would in your file cabinet. You'd have an individual folder for each person. But again, this is just a guide, and this is also on the handout under number 2 there for you. It's important to go ahead and do it now, because it's not just that time may be running out on us, but sometimes our wonderful devices might get sick with the virus and might die, or something like unfortunate may happen. So anyway, but just that's why I was like, do it now. So just as an encouragement. The third thing is the foolproof file naming formula. So here I've got where you would never save as a file, for example, census picture, that's JPEG, or a draft card in a PDF. You would use this format or a similar format. So what you would want to do is, like, for example, on number 1 is you would enter in the date, and you would start with the year, 4-digit year, your 2-digit day, and 2-digit month in this example. And then you would put your location. So this census was in Boston, Massachusetts. It was a census record, the event, the type, and then you have your name. So the surname first, Smith, and then John. And then when you go to save, it will automatically save it as JPEG because it's a picture. And then if you choose to use a PDF format, the same, similar situation, year, month, day, location, event, and name. And the tip here is when you're using hyphens in the dates, it helps it to be readable, and use and underscores to separate the parts of the formula. So meaning that, let's say for the date, 1920, January 15th. So if we didn't have the hyphens, for example, and you're reading it, you might think, well, is this a social security number? Is it a phone number? You know, for example, and so on. And then you've got your underscores that help to separate the actual location, event, and name. Again, that way it's not all merged together and it won't be all jumbled up. So just again, an example, a guide here. You might find something that works better for you when you go to create your title of how you want to save it. So that's the naming formula. And then on number 4 here, online tree cleanup. And we'll do these live, family search and ancestry. So on family search, when you find a source and you have attached it, they give you an option to list it as a tag. So let's say, for example, census record. So what's some things we can find on a census record? Like, we have an age, so we could get a date, an estimated year when they're born. We have possible birthplace. Sometimes on some of the newer census, we get parents, places of birth, and so on. So what it's meaning here is, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with the tags when we get to family search, but you would select, for example, if this was census, you would tag it as a birth because you get an estimated year. Some census records give the year about the age, of when the person married, and some, I think it's 1870, that say like within the year, for example. And then not necessarily death, obviously, but you could tag definitely birth, and some cases marriage. On Ancestry, and I love this, how many of y'all have used or heard about the My Tree tags, where you can, on the individual person, you can create a tag, a custom tag yourself. Let's say, for example, I have a gentleman in my family way up the line. He's a great 2 or 3 times great granduncle who was blind. And that is, at the time when Ancestry created these tags, that wasn't an option. So they have a custom tag that you can select custom, and then you give it the name, whether it was blindness or maybe coal miner, or something for it, like that example. And let's say, for example, you're on a brick wall and you've got, say, a father or a mother you think might be that. Well, then you could mark them as hypothesis, because we obviously don't want to mislead people to think, oh, they've got this mom or they had this dad in the family. And no, I'm not going to pick on Jamie, but on her, I think it was your Ray's, because she's a sweet lady.
It's okay.
And so with your Ray,
Let's go. Everybody else does know it's time.
So on her Ray family, I think it is, there was 2 gentlemen listed as brothers with the same name of William. And so we sat down and we found one of them had an obituary, and the other one, I went and did some extra work on the background, And this gentleman, one of them, remained in Tennessee all his life. He never left Tennessee and all this. So someone connect is what I'm saying. They misconnected the wrong person. And that's okay, you know. Sometimes, if you'll notice, the people that will attach a record, it will just say like family search. So it's like they're missionaries that work. They're doing their best. They might just pull up a census, and we know that on several census records, it doesn't always provide us the relationship to head of household, right? So they may have just assumed, okay, oh, well, his age fits, even though it's the same name. Or someone researching, as you or others, they may have thought, well, this is it for sure, you know. But again, on Ancestry, if it were me, then if I was thinking, okay, well, I have this gentleman's birth certificate, and I have a death certificate, and I have a name, possibly. So I can put his name on Ancestry, right? And then with the last name, but I'm going to mark my tag as hypothesis. That way, if Jamie or Gina or whoever was to come and look at my tree, and she's like, well, Robert says this, you know, this is, you know, and this other tree says the same thing. Well, they must be right. Well, obviously you want to check your sources, or you might choose needs research, for example. Now, let's say that I have verified it. I have the census records, I've got vital records, and so on. And at that point, I'm verified it. It's all good to go. So verified, you know, it's an option. Anyway, we'll look at some of those tags. The signature trick. Now, I don't do this, but this is just another idea here. Let's say if you don't have a picture for the person, then the trick here, what they were suggesting, is that if you find a document and it has their signature, that you could screenshot the signature, and then you could upload the handwritten signature from that document as a profile picture. It just brings it to life. That was just a suggestion. So if it were me, if I don't have a picture, I usually don't put anything like that. Some people might want to put the tombstone. It's your family tree. You're the one that you're in charge of it. Just be creative. Make it how you want, you know. And then maybe somebody started it, right? And they were like, well, I'm going to pass it to you. So then you get to take over. If you want to change things up, you go right ahead, and it's your baby. Yes, I'm sorry, Donna.
I've noticed lately, if I'm looking at something and I see, I'm going to find a grave and I want to save it to my person, it automatically puts it on their profile picture.
Right, correct.
And so now I have to go in, say I didn't want that, I have to manually go in and remove
the picture, correct.
Yeah.
That happens, and maybe similar, like if someone has pictures, they'll just have a picture of the tombstone, and I like to save the picture of the tombstones to the person's profile, just to go back as a source, excuse me. And yeah, it will just automatically put it in, and I'm like you, I'm like, okay, I don't prefer that, but if that's what you want to do, you live it.
If I actually have a mug shot, I prefer that.
Yes, there you go. Perfect. That's what we want. Yeah. Look at them criminal records.
Yeah, well.
For sure. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry. All right. So that is, like I said, we'll take a look at this live on Ancestry and Family Search. The last one, number 5, physical document rules. Excuse me. So again, this is just a suggested idea, being creative if you want to be. Let's say that you want your paternal grandfather's line to have a blue folder. I just happen to have this. Anyway, but if you're plain Jane like me, works, hey, go for it, you know what I'm saying? But you can differentiate your family individually, the person, by color if you want. They did sell, like if you just want the plain folder, they sold these little sticker tabs that you could just write the name of the person and put it in that color. I've done that in the past as well. So anyway, that's an idea. I've shared with y'all, some of you, this is a record checklist. This is a perfect thing to put in when you are doing your individual person, because this you can take and you can go through each record and verify if you've got it. Now, obviously, our relatives are not in every single record, but if you might find them, you might not, and that's okay. But use this maybe as the hit, like in the front, if you want to. And as you are adding your records to your person, well, then you can take this and just put a little check mark by it. Make one copy for each person. That's another idea there. Also, another suggesting idea is that this is on a website, and I'll share this with y'all. So this is just the state of Texas with all the counties on it, right? And that might be something like, oh, well, so for me, for Robert, so I might want to color in the county where I was born over here in East Texas, Titus. Well, where Leigh and I married was Fort Worth, so Tarrant County. And, oh, we live currently in Abilene. Well, I'll color Taylor County, you know, whatever, you know, make that, and again, put that, if, you know, just idea, if you want to be creative, you know, I don't know, that way.
Like
But-
one page
Per person. Correct. Yeah, if you want to. So
Well,
I've done that in the
not
past.
Texas.
Well, they actually have other states as well. I just brought this one because I'm a native Texan. Sorry, Gene. I should have looked for South Carolina.
We've got
for you,
answers
so-
all over.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
My
But that's a
family.
cool idea because
Yeah.
it gives you a little geography in there.
Yeah, and Jamie and I, the other day, we were looking at it, and, you know, we're like, oh, well, this is where, like, Grimes County is, or this is where this county is. And I was the same way when I first started finding these, because I would think, boy, they're moving all over the place. This is ridiculous, you know, and it might just be a neighboring county, you know what I'm saying? So, like, my family lived, most of them, in Denton County. Well, then they'd be in Dallas, or they'd be in Tarrant. I'm like, boy, they're just moving all over the place. Well, Robert, get a map, and then you'll see where the counties are. So there you go. So anyway, but that's just an idea if you would choose to do
Are
that.
these
So
current counties? Because you know a
Yes.
lot of times counties change.
yes, this is current.
Okay.
This is current, correct. And I'll get that website to you. So that's just a couple of ideas. And one thing I liked, and I forgot the name of the book, but Gene let me borrow it, and I thought it was quite funny when the author's ending his book. He was saying, okay, I have a basket full of loose documents. I've got to go sorting right now. So I'm going to end the book. You know, it's kind of funny. So that's kind of the tip. So the final thing I wanted to leave here with you is that even though, let's say it's been 10 years, let's say it's been 30 some odd or even more, if you've got, you know, tubs or boxes full of papers, don't panic. Just take your time, move it the pace you want to. Again, this is your baby. This is your project. Be creative with it. If you want to have some maps that you want to color in, go for it. If you would like to have a checklist in front of it, you know, add that too. If you like multiple colored folders, hey, I'm not going to judge you. Use it. I like plain Jane. But just you might consider, if you want, like when you're doing your research and you're sitting down and say, I've got about 30 minutes. I've got about 2 hours tonight. It's about 1. I've got 2 hours I can research. Maybe, if you choose, take 10, 15 minutes and pull out a couple of papers and say, oh, this is so-and-so's birth, you know, and set it over here and, you know, do that, you know. Anyway, that's where I will leave y'all with that. And now it's y'all's turn to look at organizing it whenever how you want to. The second handout that Jean gave you is organizing your files. She gave you the blown up copy. Mine is the little fine print. I'm sorry, but it's the blown up copy of that.
Which one?
The fat packet.
Did everybody get one?
Got it. I think, yeah, we got it last time.
Okay.
I mean, we can make copies and
So,
I'll
I
share.
can always get one. I can move a little bit of this one.
alrighty. This is just for y'all to have to read on your time. This gives you some more information on organization of files, both physical as well as looking at some digital. So just take the time on your own to go through it and skim through and read. It gets you some excellent ideas and also some of what I've shared. But that's what that second handout was there for you. So,
Go into detail.
so that's where I'll stop. Any questions about this little bit here before we go to the live part? Okay. So I'm going to let me close this out, please. Okay. Let me hop over to. We're going to start. Let's start with family search. Oh, just real quickly, I'd like to make one more quick announcement. So, beginning tonight, my beautiful bride back there is going to be recording the meeting for us. And Jean and I have worked, and we have a YouTube channel, and I can share this link with you. And so when Lee is able to get the video from tonight edited, then we will upload it on here, and I'll let everyone know. I'll send out an email to let you know and send the link. Anyway, this way, if you'd like to go back and rewatch it, or if you miss, then you can always catch up that way on YouTube. And so, and this is be public, and this will help maybe get the word out about your group, and maybe draw more people in as well. So anyway, that was just one more quick announcement. Did you have something you'd like to share? Okay. Okay. All right. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
You're going to tell them what the channel is, like how to find it?
Yeah. Well, I'll
name of it?
I'll send it. Yeah. I'll
Okay.
send that to them.
Now, will they use the email? They won't need that.
No,
You
no.
just needed it for you.
I just needed it to be able
Okay.
to access so I could log in. Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. But it's but I will email you the link there. Let's see. I tell you what. If y'all want the handle, I think it's just going to be the email address. But let me send y'all the email just to make sure that comes through. But the handle would just be clydegenealogy@gmail.com. So the email there on YouTube. All right, let's begin on family search. So this is my tree. So if y'all want to hop on, you want to look at yours, you can follow along with me, whatever you prefer. So it was talking about the tags on that one slide. So let me open up my great-great-grandfather Pruitt here, George W. Pruitt. Okay, so what you'll do is when you are logged into your family search account, open up a relatives profile page like that. Then you'll want to navigate to sources so you can see what sources have already been attached. Now, we'll just go with the first record here, which is the 1870 census for him. All right, if you look down here, you'll see tags, and this has already been created for him. He has a birth, it says the sex or gender, and then the name. Now, what you would do, let's say if you want to add your record and there are no tags, then you have this plus add tag, and all you would do is just select that option, and it gives you these here: name, sex, birth, christening date, death or burial. Well, we know that on the census it has provided his name, his gender, his birthday. It doesn't provide christening, and he's still living, and this isn't for burial either. So these would be the three tags that we would have. Now, the neat thing here is under other information tags, if you click on that, you can add an alternate name. Let's say you want to change the name, so Crewit, we're very important because they spelled it correctly here. You could do an alternate name if you want, or you can choose to select the tag residence, and you can put that residence. Let's say it gives us a house number and a street number, for example, like on the 1930 census. And so let's say it was 200, we'll say North Willis, Abilene, Texas. There you go, Taylor County. So if I wanted to, I could select that, and I could add that information in if extra on here. So this is what the tags feature is on family search. So if you choose to help you organize it a little bit better, you may go through each of your sources that are already selected for your person, or if you find a source and you add it, you can go in and do that. So that is what that slide was talking about.
How would it change it? It just changes it on that other one, on that other page?
Right. Yes, ma'am. So what it would do is it would come over here under details. And okay, so then if you see like it had a name for tag, so it's going to tag it as a source for his name. It's going to tag it for his birth because that was selected. and it's with his gender as well. So that's where each of these, you've got like 6 sources, 7 individuals. So it's just
those 3 items that you tagged would show up there.
yes, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Let me get one.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry. No, I don't want to confuse you. You're
No,
good. You're good.
not. I just want to make sure that when I get home, I remember.
Okay. Well, if not, you could give me a ring or you can text me. So anyway, this is how you would work on your tree on family search. So any other questions with this on the tagging? Okay. Now, something else that I like to do is I like everything to be uniformed, and this helps not just on family search, but it also helps on ancestry to create, or I shouldn't say create, cause the algorithms to kick in and provide more hints for you, more possible records. Not always, but usually it does. So, for example, let's look at my ancestor here on his birth. So I'm going to come over here to the pencil icon to open up his birth. Okay, so let's move over here. We would select edit again. Okay, so what you want to do when you're looking at this, do y'all see where it says standardized date? It's in green, and then standardized place in green as well. That guarantees that any records would populate for your person. So let's say, for example, I didn't have any of these census records. I didn't have his find a grave yet, and I'm beginning researching it all. So what I would do is I would make sure I entered in his date of birth. So how Family Search has it set up is they want you to enter in the day, just a single digit. They want you to enter in the month and then the year. So let's look, like, for example, if I entered in, I'm just going to re-enter in his birth year was 1860. When you enter or typing this in, this little box will drop down. This is what is considered to be the standardized date, and the same will happen when we move to the place. So what you want to do is always select what Family Search's standardized date is to get your better options for your hints and sources. Let's look at the birthplace here. So I honestly know that he was just born in Alabama. I'm still looking for the exact county. I don't have that specific record. So I can just enter in Alabama, and when I do, then it's going to drop down. So let's do this. Let me delete it here and we'll show you. So I'm going to type in, I know he's born in Alabama. All right, now I get several choices here. Obviously this is not the South Africa, but I know Alabama, United States is what I'm looking for. That's the place. So I'm going to select that first option. Again, this is going to give me my standardized place. It's going to lock it in and go, okay, you're saying George Pruitt was born on this date in this state and country. Okay, good. So then if I were entering it brand new, or I was editing it on my tree, then the next option would be to come over here and select your save button. Nothing was changed, so it's going to just remain grayed out. But that is a big plus if you look at putting in just a standardized date and place, because sometimes I've been helping Arik and the other missionaries at the Family Search Center to do indexing. They do that a couple times a year, excuse me. And so that helps people to have more results when searching for on the full text search. It helps to correct names, place spellings, etc. So when that comes up, there's an option for indexing for a place or location. And you should see some of the places that locations, because it might say, like on birthplace, it might say the number 9, little 0, comma, Alabama, comma, US or United States. Well, of course, that's not a standardized date. Family Search is gonna somewhat sense, okay, he was born in Alabama, but what is all this other extra information, Maybe those records won't be notated are found. So if I go in, I'm going to clear out that 9 and little O or 0 and just leave it as the state and the country. And that's something else that's important as us as being family historians, genealogists, family keeping records, or whatever you have given yourself as the title is that when you're entering your data, especially on Ancestry, it's good to have a concise format, meaning like you want to have on Ancestry, you want to have your 2-digit day, 3-digit month, 4-digit year. And then on the place location, it's recommended that you start with your closest, then you go out to your next and next and next. So for example, if you had family that was born here in Clyde, so you'd have Clyde, that's your smallest location. The next is Callahan, the county, right? And then you've got Texas, and then United States of America. So you start that way. Now I know that some people might like to say, like we talked about last time, if they were born out in the country. So let's say they were born just a few miles outside of Abilene, but it's in Taylor County. Well, some people might like to say, to help differentiate Taylor, the city, versus Taylor County, and that's fine. Again, this is your project. It's ever how you like to have it documented, but it's recommended, especially on Ancestry, that you do the county. So you'd say Taylor, comma, Texas, comma, United States. And what that's going to do is those algorithms are going to kick in the hints, and they're going to be like, oh, pop, pop, pop. Versus if you do put in the county. Now, you can put that in and you still can get hints, but when I've taken out the word county, then it kicks in more hints sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. But again, this is y'all's, your own project, your own building. And so if that's easier for you to help differentiate as well as family or friends, please do it. So it's not Robert Pruitt's law. That's not it. It's just guided suggestions only. So, but anyway, so on family search, any questions right here, and then we'll hop over to Ancestry. Okay. All right, I'm going to just close this out. And then we'll look at tree tags, y'all. Okay, so I'm going to open up. Let me see who I want to pick on tonight. How about we pick on my Italian immigrant ancestor, one of them. Okay, his name was Nicola Trofoni from Italy. All right, so this is really cool. And I've got one more little thing about the hints. Ancestry's updated their little hints. It used to be down here, but now they've moved the button up here. And it's pretty cool. We'll look at it in a minute, if y'all like to. Anyway, okay, so tree tags. So tree tags just go under his vital information, so his birth and his death. So what I've done is I have had other people test on Ancestry DNA with me, and we have this common ancestor. So I've got that. He is my he's my great-grandfather, so that's another one. Now, we can come over here, and this is on everybody's, and by the way, to do the tree tags is free, so you don't have to have a subscription. As long as you have your account, you just log in, and you can add their made tree tags, or you can create your own custom tree tags as well, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So let me open this up here. So what I do, okay, so over here I have the common direct DNA connection. He was an immigrant. He actually did serve in the military, but he was with the Italian army during World War I. I haven't yet to find those records. I really want to see them though. I'm really curious. I did find what I thought was really cool was his alien citizen papers. And in 1944, 1945, I believe it is, the government, if a person was not a naturalized citizen, they had to be put in this filing type system where they would go in and they'd ask them questions, and it's very detailed and it's very interesting. And you got to see a very faded thumbprint. Gonna cry. And I got to see his picture. It's pretty cool. So for the, I got to see that anyway. This, and I'll blow this one up. That's him at a much younger age with the one that I had. He's older, but very cool file. But anyway, but he was military, and I put that he verified because I have found a lot of the records here. And so if we just kind of scroll, I've got him in the census records here from 1920 to 1950. He passed away in 1959, and he did arrive in 1906, but he went back. And why? Well, 7 years later he decided to get married, so he left. And so this 1913 after the 1910 US Census, so that's why he's not here. And then the next year, my grandmother Pacina Mary Torconi was born in Italy. So I got that. And then he decided that he was going to come back. So anyway, I've got him in city directories, I've got him in military records, his find a grave, the alien case file, which on here on Ancestry, it gives you just a very basic information on that, about them. To see the actual detailed files, you would contact the archives. I think it was in Missouri's where I ordered, if you choose. And anyway, but that's where I have said that I have him verified. Sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted. Now, if I want to add more tags, then, I'm sorry, I'm in the way. If I want to add more tags here, then I would just select the edit button. And I'm going to do that. Okay, now, as I said, I had that one relative that was blind, so that's my only custom tag I have right now. But if I want to create more, I just come up here to create a custom tag, and then you can call it whatever you'd like, and you may give it a description, and then you just select create. And when you do, then it goes on this list here beside the one I have blind, and then you can add that to a person's profile. On Ancestry, they have provided, actually they've updated more in the last couple of months, but they have several options here. So you've got if your soldier was in the Civil War, if they died in an accident, if they were deaf, infancy death, if they died in an epidemic, if they were an employer, if they celebrated a golden wedding anniversary, if they lived during the Great Depression, and so on. If they lived during the Reconstruction era following the American Civil War, American Revolutionary soldier, if they lived there, if they celebrated, silver wedding anniversary, and so on. So these are just some in that one category. If you find documentation, you can add these tags to the person. So let's say you found that birth certificate, birth documented, if you know where they're buried, so on, and death. But oh wait, what if you can't find that birth record yet? Put a missing birth. I'm not certain where the person's buried, and so on, buried. Or if they're, let's say I didn't have a census for my ancestor, I could select missing census record, and so on. So anyway, these are just some really neat things to add to your tree, and there's other categories here that you can go and look at. And then what the cool thing is as you add people, these custom tags to these people, it automatically groups them together for you. So you don't have to go through your tree and go, okay, and make that write out list. Okay, so grandpa was in the service, his great grandfather was in the service, and all this. So let me show you, for example. So let's look at military here. Let me find it for you. Okay, so see, I've got military service. So let's just say I want to look at a specific set of those. Excuse me. All right, so how you go about finding the tree tags. Okay, so when you're looking at your tree, your vertical or your horizontal or the fan, okay, over here at the top where it says find in the tree, just click on that, and then, excuse me, well, Robert? Okay, there's a filters option. Hold on, let me hit this. There we go. Okay, when you click on find your tree, then in the tree, you have name and then you have filters. So click on filters. this gives you all of your tags that you have either created yourself or were created by Ancestry. So let's say, for example, I want to see the military service. So I would click that one, select apply, right? Then it gives me the ones that I have marked right now, the people who have served in the military. So I have my dad, I have my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my 3 times great-grandfather, I've got an uncle, first cousin, another, so this was my third great-grandfather, Gilbert Crew. He immigrated. He's got the little ship there too from England. He served later in life during the Civil War, and then it was his oldest son who also served anyway. But when you put a tree tag with somebody on Ancestry, then they automatically will group all these people in there. So all you have to do is just click on that specific tree tag, and I just cancel that out, and you just go back to filters, and you can select any of these tags and see. And also, let's say, like, if I want to look at if I've got some with brick walls. So you see I have right now 4 I've notated in my family. So that's how you then find the tags. So anyway, while I'm looking.
Yeah, how'd you get the little ship up there?
Well, that's a really good question, Jean. So,
I'm assuming that's an immigrant.
Yes, yeah, that's a
That's
simple
what that-
correct.
Yeah.
Right. So, on an episode that Krista Cowan did, it's like a free GIF website, I think, and I just did a basic search for a ship. And this was one of the first ones that came up, and so I downloaded it for free, because it was free. And then I went in, and you can do this with each person. So on their name, you select edit. Now, I know that some people might be a junior, or they might be so-and-so the 3rd or 4th and so on. So that's where your suffix would be. But if they don't have a suffix, then you can put your little picture here. And so this tells me that he was an immigrant. So when I go back to my family tree here, I'm gonna zoom in.
Could you go ahead and put like the 3rd or junior, and then put the little ship on the other side?
Correct. You may do that. That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So see, like here on my tree, my grandmother. So she immigrated. She was only, I think she was just about a year. She was really, really young. So, but she came with her mother. Now, this is what Ancestry will do when the first name and last name are so long. It just gives you an initial. So I'm gonna click on her name. So her name was Concetta Quattrocelli. There you go. So anyway, so she came with, it would be, let's see, so Nonna is grandmother. I think it's Bisnonna is great-grandmother. I don't know Italian, just 1 or 2 little words. So anyway, but she came with great-grandmother Concetta together on the ship. So yeah, so but you can do that, Jean. So you can just go to the name, and let's say junior or the 3rd, and then right beside it you can put it. And anyway, I thought that was a pretty neat little thing to add, and you can add even with the DNA when you're grouping, you can put a specific color, like follow this example, like the paternal blue or red, whatever color you choose to do as well. So, question.
Yeah. When they, when they're not like my Albert Anses, they, when my grandfather was senior, Dad was junior. My brother's a 3rd, his son's a 4th. Okay. Even though, records probably are not out there with junior, senior, etc. It's okay to, so that we know that this is a senior, this is the,
Right. What I learned with that, Jean, is that for example, my dad is a senior. My half-brother is a junior. And so when we are all born, we are just given, some of us are given a first, middle, last name, some first, last, some are initials. Now for the guys, we're never given a senior, right? Because we don't have our own sons or, to follow. But we could be a junior. So in that sense, for my dad, I'm going to show you right here. So see, his full name is Raymond Francis Paloon, Senior. But that's not what's on his birth certificate. So what I do is I go and I look at his birth certificate, or if I find the delayed birth certificate or census, then I go off of that as to verify his name. Now, my half-brother is, of course, Raymond Francis Paloon Jr. On his birth index, because I don't have his birth certificate, it has Junior. So I put that on there. So we can take a quick look here. I'll show y'all. So, okay, let me scroll down. Okay, so see, let me close those tags a moment. Okay, so over here, so we have Raymond Francis Paloon Jr. So in this case, yeah, that's what's on his birth certificate is the junior. So I'm gonna list it. And then in your case, you've got the junior, the third, the fourth. So you would put junior, and then his son would be the third, and then his son, the fourth. And then for the senior, I wouldn't put senior because that's gonna throw off the records with Ancestry. And that was something else because I'm going through doing some editing as well because I still have some seniors, and like I put senior on the person's name.
Like my senior and junior, my grandfather was always senior, but there's two Albert Burnett Anses above that.
Right.
So
just recommendation. Again, it's your tree. It's your creative project.
Yeah, but if you can,
Then if it were senior, I would leave it out of the suffix. But if it's junior, the third, fourth, fifth, and so on, definitely put that in. Just what's
I don't think my grandfather. They become a senior if they have another child that is going to be a junior.
Correct.
Correct.
So when he was born, he was just
it's not a senior.
Correct.
It would have just been.
It would have been after
Archie
the birth.
Michael Anns.
Correct.
Right.
And then after the son's born, any documents he chose what he would sign, he may put senior if he did or something, will or something. So yeah, that's different. But yeah, so definitely follow that pattern, and be creative as far as putting the little ships on there. I've tried my best, if I have a picture, to put them on the profile pictures. So like this is my grandfather. This is military, served during World War II. And then this was my grandmother, my mom's side. This was one taken just a couple of years before she passed away. But just be creative. Like here's my mom. I love this picture. She was only a couple of months old, little chubby thing. But of course I can't talk because I think she was like 8 pounds, 6 ounces. I was like 8 pounds, like 14 ounces. So anyway, I was a big baby. But anyway, very blessed. But anyway,
It was 8.
So
I was 9 too.
oh my, wow. But yeah, just again, just be creative on here. And on Family Search, let me toggle back over a minute. Some people, if you select memories, y'all probably know this, may have added a picture or a gravestone, like in this situation. So this picture, of course, is my great-great-grandfather, George Pruitt. So someone added it, and that way, if I'd never seen him again, I'm very thankful for the person who uploaded it. Ancestry has moved, and they're still working on if you go to log in, your hints button may not be up here under this vital information. It may still be down here, and that's okay. They're working through everybody's accounts over time, and I just happened to log in this morning and I happened to see it. So I never know when they'll be doing their changes, but that's your hints there. Go ahead.
Do you happen to know on Family Tree, you sync it, you can, the information that you have, like if you've got more information on Ancestry than I do Family Search, when I sync the new stuff, it automatically updates both of them.
Right.
Okay.
It's on the Family Tree Maker, correct.